Okay, we begin at the top. First line of Berakhos, Daf Mem Zayin Amud Aleph 47a. We're right in the middle of a discussion regarding not giving kavod to people when they're on the road, when they're under bridges and things like this. And now the Gemara is going to tell us a story regarding this very halacha. So we begin. Ravin ve'Abaya havaka azle be'orcha. Ravin and Abaye were walking on the road. Kadme Chamre de Ravin Lidza Abaya, and the donkey of Ravin went in front of Abaya. And it's important to note that Ravin was less important, or was a student, and Abaya was more important, or was the teacher. So generally, Ravin should have had to give respect to Abaya, but nevertheless, when they're walking on the road, the donkey of Ravin went in front of Abaya's donkey. V'lo Amar le Nizel Mar, and Ravin did not say, Nizel Mar, let master go ahead of me. So Abaya said, Midisalik Hayim Rabbanan Mima'arava, since this person, this student, this rabbi came from the West, came from Israel, Gasle Date, he became very haughty person. And that's why he's not giving me honor. Kimata Lepischa the Beit Knishta, when they got to the entrance of the Beit Knesset, of the shul, Amarle, then Rabin said to Abaya, Ne Omar, let Mar master go in before me. So Amar Le, Abai said to him, Vad hashta lav marana, wasn't I your master until now? What's the difference now that you're letting me go in first? Why didn't you let me precede you before? So Amar Le Ravin responded, Hachi Amar Rabbi Yochanan. This is what Rabbi Yochanan taught. And remember, Rabbi Yochanan was one of the rabbis of Eretz Yisrael. Ein mechabdin ela bepesach sheyesh ba mezuzah. We don't give honor to people except in front of a doorway which has a mezuzah. So the isbe mezuzah in, where there is a mezuzah, yes. The lesbe mezuzah, lo. And where there's no mezuzah, we do not give kavod. Ella mayata, but from this, what he taught us, beis haknesses, a beis hamedrash, the leis behu mezuzah. In a beis knesses, a shul, and a beis medrash, and a yeshiva, the leis behu mezuzah, where there are no mezuzahs, hachinami de mechavni, he should not have given kavod to him there either. So Ella Ema, rather you should say, the Pesach Hara'oi mezuzah, a doorway which is fitting for a mezuzah, meaning not in front of bridges, not in the open road, not on the highway, but in a doorway which would have a mezuzah if people were living in a house. Then you would give kavod there. So the first question is, what's the story? Why doesn't the shul have a mezuzah? So let's go to the Rambam. Rambam explains in Hilchos Mezuzah. He says, Bate Knesios, and not even before, Harabayas, the Harabayas on in Yerushalayim, Lishachos, and the various places on Harabayas, Vahazaros, and the courtyards of Harabayas, Ubate Knesios, and shuls, Ubate Midrashos, and yeshivas, She'ein Bahen Beistira, which do not have places where people live, Beturin Lefi She'ein Kodesh. They are exempt from mezuzah because they are already holy. However, Beis HaKnesses Shel Kfarim, the shuls of the small outer villages, Sheha'archin Darimbo, where people, guests, do live there, Chayiv b'mezuzah. Those are those shuls, those places, they need a mezuzah. V'chein Beis HaKnesses Shel Krachin, Im Hayabo Beis Dira Chayav. And also any shul in any big city, if there are people who live there, Chayav and mezuzah. So really mezuzah is going on, the obligation is where people live. If it's just a shul, if it's just a yeshiva, they do not need a mezuzah. And that is the background necessary for this Gemara. Okay, onward. Amar Rav Yehuda, Bered Rav Shmuel, Bar Shilas Mishmed Rav. Rav Yehuda, the son of Rav Shmuel Bar Shilas, in the name of Rav, this is what he said. Ein hamasubin rishayim lechol klum ad sheyit habotzeya. That the people who are sitting at a meal should not eat anything until the person who made the bracha takes some food for himself. So Shulchan Aruch says, Habotzea, regarding the order of how people should eat at a meal, Habotzea hu poshe yadav tchila v'ochel. The person who makes the bracha should extend his hand first and eat. And no one else sitting there should eat anything until the one who made the bracha eats from the food. Habotzea rasha litom, the person who made the bracha should not eat ad sheyichla amein mipi rov hamasubin, until amein, the word amen, has been said from most, or been finished saying from most of the mouths of the people sitting there. We'll see in the Gemara why it says rov, most of the mesubin. If the Botzea wants to give kavod to his Rebbe, or someone greater than him, b'chachma, in wisdom, and he gives him the honor of taking food before him, harshus biyadav, then he's allowed to. But really, Me'eker Adin, the Botzea is the one who has to make the eat first before anyone else. Yasiv Rav Safra v'kamar. Rav Safra was sitting and said, Lit om itmar. He said, Lit om, to taste, not to eat. He said to taste. So remember, he said here, Le'achol klum achi yit om havotzea. So no. So Rav Safra is saying it wasn't le'achol, it was lit om. So l'may nafkamina. What's the difference? What's the difference between eating and tasting? So really, there's no difference. But the Gemara explains, Shechayev adam lomar b'lashon rabo. A person has to give over his Torah, his teaching, in exactly the same language that his rabbi said. Even if it doesn't really make a practical difference in the halacha itself, nevertheless, he has to talk in the language of his rabbi. Tanar Rabbanan, rabbis taught, Shnayim mamtinim zelazeh bik'ara. If two people are waiting for another with a dish, but shlosha ein mamtinin. 3 do not need to wait if one person interrupts when he's eating. The Botzea extends his hand first. If he wants to honor his Rebbe or someone who's greater than him, then harshus biyadav. He is allowed to do that. Rabba bar Barchana have a asikle, and Rabba bar Barchana was making a big party for a marriage. Livrei Rav Shmuel for his son in the house of Rav Shmuel Barav Katina, the son of Rav Katina. And Kadim V'Yasiv V'Kamasne Le'Livrei. And first he sat down and was teaching his son. And this is what he taught him. Ein habotzea rashai l'tzoa ad sheyichla amen mipi ha'onim. The Botzea is not allowed to break the bread, to eat, until every person finished saying amen. Rav Chizda Amar, but Rav Chizda said mipi rov ha'onim, from the majority of people. Amar lei Rami Bar Chama. So Rami Bar Chana said to Rav Chizda, Maishna ruba da akate lokalia. What's the difference? Why did you say rov, most people, da akate lokalia, bracha? Because the blessing has, if you want to say, the reason is because the blessing isn't completed until most people finish saying amen. Miyutinami lokalia bracha. Then even if a few people have not finished saying amen, clearly the bracha is not finished. You need to wait for everybody to finish to saying amen and that's considered the end of the bracha. So Amar le, so Rav Chizda responded, Shani omer kol ha'ona amen yoser midai eno elatoeh. This is different because whoever says amen too long, yoter midai, like a very, very long amen, eno elatoeh. That's a mistake. That's an error. And it's not obligated to finish, to wait eating bread before, people who say that long of an amen finish their amen. Now we're going to talk about amen and the importance of saying the proper amen. Tana Rabbana, rabbis taught, ein onin lo amen chatufa. A person should not say an amen chatufa. Now chatufa is chataf. And so really, chatufa is a hurried, a quick amen, very quickly. Lo amen ketufa, and not an amen that's very short or very, missing some of the letters. Lo amen yesoma, and not an amen that's a yesoma. So what are these 3 things? Amen ketufa is amen chataf, which today in modern Hebrew, chataf is a vowel, is the sound under amen. But chataf in the Gemara language is a shva. So the 2 dots, one above the other, under the aleph. So the person should not say imain as opposed to amen. And if he said imain, that's an amen chatufa. And an amen ketufa is an amen without a nun. So ameh as opposed to amen. And amen yesoma, literally an amen that's orphaned. And what's the father, the parent of the amen, is the bracha itself. So a person should hear the full bracha before he says amen to the bracha. So now there's a very important Rashi on Yesoma. What does that mean? Shalosh shama habracha, that he did not hear the bracha. Elish shama she'onin amen. He heard that people are responding amen. But that is a story from Sukkah, which is seemingly contradictory to this Gemara here. Sheba Alexandria shel Mitzrayim, in Alexandria of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, hayumanifim besudarim. Kishagia es lanos amen. They used to hold up these big signs in the shul when it was the time to say amen. Why? Because the shul was so big, there were so many people there that the people at the very back couldn't even hear the bracha. So these people at the front would hold up these giant signs, and then everybody would say amen. So how is that not an amen yisoma? An amen where they didn't hear the bracha. So alma lo shami. They did not hear the bracha. V'ka'anu, and then they would answer amen. So no. There they knew for sure that they were saying an amen after a bracha. Val ezu bracha hein onim. And they also knew which bracha they were following because they were able to follow in the sinner. So they knew exactly when the bracha was made and the fact that they were saying amen to a bracha. But they just didn't hear the voice of the bracha. Now, there are other places in the Gemara which discuss that maybe a person, if he doesn't hear the proper bracha, we're worried that the person who made the bracha said some heretical things. Maybe he didn't say Hashem. Maybe he inserted another God's name, Rahman al-Islam. So different reasons given to this Gemara why Amen Yisoma is such an important halacha, but nevertheless, that is the Gemara. V'lo yizrok bracha mepiv. A person should not throw a bracha out of his mouth. Should not say a bracha very quickly, as if it's a burden to him. Ben Azai Omer, and Ben Azai says, Kol ha'ona amen yisoma yiyu banav yisom. Very, very difficult Gemara. Whoever says an amen yisoma, his children will be orphans. Chatufa yischatfu yamav. And if he does a quick amen, then his days will be quick. Chatufa yischatfu yamav. And if he does a short amen, his days will be short. And now we get to the positive side of this. Whoever makes a longer, extended amen and says it well in the proper way, then his days and years are lengthened. So this is another example of things that the Gemara taught, which are increase a person's days. And we already had a few of them. One was going early and leaving late from shul, and then doing Shnai Mikra Targum. Then also being ma'arich the echad in Kriyas Shema, being machmir on oneself regarding the kula of a balkari, and a few other places, not saying Kriya Shema in a disgusting place. And we're going to have a few more of these before the end of the Gemara, the Masechta. Rav Vishmuel Havo Yasve Besudasa. Rav and Shmuel were sitting in the Suda. Asa Rav Shimi Bar Chaya, and Rav Shimi Bar Chaya joined them. Hava Kamisari V'achel. And they ate, and this rabbi, Rav Shimi, he ate very quickly in order to join in with their zimun. So Amarle Rav said to him, Ma dadcha it's trufe bahadan. Why are you thinking that it's possible for you to join us? Anan anchilnaman. We already finished eating. So Amarle Shmuel said to Rav, Elu maisu li ardelia v'guzlaya la'aba. If they brought ardelia, which is a certain kind of food, the gozlaya and certain pigeons or birds, doves, to you, to Abba, and that's a term of endearment of my master, my father, my teacher. If they brought such food to you, mila achlinan, wouldn't you continue eating? And therefore, since you would theoretically continue eating, it's possible for people to join us in the meal and join our zimun. Talmidei de Rav havo yasvei b'sudasa. The students of Rav were sitting in a suda together. Al Rav Acha, and Rav Acha came in. Amra, and he said, Asa gav Rabba d'mevarech lan. There's a great person who came and can make the bracha for us. So Amr Lahu, so Rav Acha said to them, Mi savrisa de gadol mevarech. And does it occur to you that the greatest person is the one who has to say the bracha? So Iker sheb'seuda mevarech. The best person of the suda should make the bracha. The hilchasa, but the halacha is gadol mevarech afal gav da'asa levasof. That the gadol, the most important person, should make the bracha, even if he only comes at the end of the meal. So in that story with Rav Acha, he should have been the one who made the bracha. Okay, and a few more lines. Let's plow through. Now we're going back to the Mishnah. Achal demai. And the Mishnah back on Mem Hey on Aleph said, Achal demai, if someone eats demai, and now what is demai? Demai is food which we're not sure if it was taken meiser from it or not. But if someone eats food like this, mizamnin alav, he can make a zimun over it. It's not that bad an avera that he's not allowed to make a zimun and bench over it. So Gemara asks the question, halo chazile, but it's not fit for him to eat. Right? This is demai, is not, the person should not be eating it. So now, kivan de'i ba'e, because since if he wanted, mafker lahu lin chasei, he can make all of his possessions hefker, the have ane, the chazele, and then he would be very poor, and then it would be fitting for him. Now, demai, food that which we're not sure if there's a suffix whether Meiser was taken from it or not, the rabbi said that a very poor person can eat it, but a person who's not so poor cannot. So, but if he really wanted to, can say all of my possessions are ownerless, and therefore I'm poor now and I can eat this demai. Why would a person do this? Not the point. He can, and therefore a person can make a zimun on demai. Ditnan, we learned in the Mishnah, ma'achilin es ha'aniyim demai, ves ha'achsanya demai. That poor people can eat demai as well as soldiers. They can all eat demai. V'amar Rav Huna, and Rav Huna said, Tana, we learned in a brisa, Beis Shammai omrim, the Beis Shammai said, ein ma'achilin es ha'aniyim, ves ha'achsanya demai. That according to Beis Shammai, we cannot feed poor people or soldiers demai. But what that means is that since Beis Shammai held we can't, Beis Hillel must have held that we could. So that was another machlokas Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel. We obviously hold like Beis Hillel. Next piece in the Mishnah, Ma'aser Rishon shenat l'trumaso. That if there's Ma'aser Rishon, which they took truma, another kind of food, again mizamnin alav. We can do a zimun on that food. So pshita, it's an obvious. Why'd you have to teach us that part of the Mishnah? We knew that already. Lo, so no, it's not obvious. Tzricha, it was needed. Ela shegdimu b'shibalam v'hifresh mimenu trumas meiser. We're talking about a case where a Levi came before and he separated the truma of the meiser, because Leviim have an additional truma that they have to separate from the meiser that they get, which is called trumas meiser. V'lo hifresh mimenu truma gedola, but he did not separate truma gedola. Ukdar Ravahu, and it's like the teaching of Ravahu. Damar Ravahu, Amar Reish Lakish. Ravahu taught in the name of Reish Lakish. Ma'aser Rishon shehegdima b'shibalim. That Ma'aser Rishon, which they took while it's still b'shibalim. Shibalim are still wrapped up in the ears of the corn, so to speak, or in the ears of the fruit of the vegetable. Pater mitruma gedola. It is pater from truma gedola. Shine Amar, as it says in the pasuk, Vaha remosa mimenu trumas Hashem ma'aser min ha'maiser. And when you raise it up as a gift to Hashem, you should give it ma'aser min ha'maiser, maiser from the maiser. So maiser min ha'maiser amarti lecha. So the pasuk says that maiser min ha'maiser, the lo truma gedola, but trumas maiser min ha'maiser, but not truma gedola, and not trumas maiser from the maiser. So diuk in that pasuk regarding that. Amar later Rav Papa Abaya, and Rav Papa said to Abaya, if that's the case, I feel hukdimu b'krinami. It should also be true when he separated it from a mountain heap, right before the grain was before it was ground into fine flour. So Amar lay, so Alayach Amar Kra. Regarding that particular question, the pasuk says, Mikal Meiser Sechem Tarimu. From all of your Meiser, you should raise up to Hashem as truma. Umara Isa, and what's the reason you have for including that, but not the grain? So Hai Idgan v'Hai Lo Idgan. One has been turned into actual corn and one has not, and therefore this is a halachic difference, and very important to keep in mind in the time of the Beis HaMikdash when they would actually take such things from their produce. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful day.